Hi, welcome back to my channel. I was asked by somebody who watched my last video, how did I study, or what did I use to study? So here I am making another video, and most of these videos are driving because I'll be super busy. So here it is. These are the things that I use to study. I used Leak Book. I also took the Leak Review. I did the Hoyer recorded videos. I did Sarah Michelle Crash Course. The Latrina Walden Crash Course. Latrina Walden Live Review. And I used the FNP Mastery question bank. Obviously the Leak question bank comes along with it. And I also used the Board Vitals question bank. That is a lot, and it's a lot of money. It's also not necessary to do all of those things or to use all of those resources. The resources that I thought, I like that I was able to use all those resources and give a review on them, or I am able to give a review on them based on the resources that I did use, the ones that I recommend. Before I go there, I would like to say I did have the Fitzgerald book, or I do have it. I did not use that as a study tool. I'll explain why here in a minute. So there are three resources that I think help me the most, or that I would recommend, and those are the Leak Live Review book. It is different from the Leak book itself. However, you can only get it if you do the live review course. So therefore, I would not recommend you do the live review course just to get that book. I think that the book that you purchase is sufficient. So if you don't want to do live review, then the book itself is fine. Not the book that comes with the review, but the regular book that you order and those questions that go along with it. So that's the first thing I would recommend, is the Leak book, either of the books, with the live review or the book that you just buy straight out. The live review itself, I don't think weighed heavy on me passing the exam. It wasn't the significant factor, because everything she talked about was in that book that came with it, and there was not really any extra in which I made notes on. So that, if she could sell that book by itself, that would be great. Anyhow, so the second thing would be the Hoyer videos, the Hoyer lectures. I don't think that her live course is necessary, because her recorded lectures are, they say on the website that they're exactly what she goes over in her live review sessions. The third resource that I think was very helpful was the Latrina Walden Crash Course. She does these buzzwords. I like her energy. I also like Hoyer's energy, which is why I think her information, her teaching style stuck well. So what, I didn't use the Fitzgerald because Fitzgerald, I was using it for a couple days initially, and then I just thought it was very, I thought it was a lot. So I just stuck with Leak initially, and then I tacked on some of the other resources later on. So let me tell you my study schedule. So I started studying back in December of 2021, and the Leak app, or the Leak has an app where you can go online and you can set your test date, and it gives you how much, like what you should study, how much you should study for each day leading up to your exam. So I kind of went off that. However, I set my exam date, well, I made sure that I ended early enough to then do review of what I was reviewing, right? So so I started in December with just Leak, and then the first week, the last week of February, I then did the Latrina Walden crash course, the Sarah Michelle crash course. Yes, I think those were the only two that I did at that time. Oh, and I did the Leak live review, and then I was preparing for our comprehensive exam in school, so that's why I did those 3 that week, and then the following week, at the end of the following week is when we had our exam. So then after that exam was done, I believe I had, so that was March, April, I took the exam April 27th. So I had about 5 or 6 weeks, I can't remember exactly right now, but in that time, I planned out my schedule. I planned out my schedule to hit a certain system every day or every 2 days. And then I allowed myself enough time to go back and hit the systems that I struggled with before test day. As I'm studying these systems, so what I would do is I had a big binder, and I put all of my resources in that big binder. So I had Sarah Michelle, I had Latrina Walden, and I had Hoyer information. And then I had Leak, because hers came in a separate large spiral bound. I had that separate because I didn't want to undo all that. But I used only the book that came with the live review. I no longer used the book that I purchased last year, the Leak book I purchased last year. So anyways, so for example, let's say I'm going to do cardiovascular. I would study cardiovascular for 2 days. I would do the section on cardiovascular for each of those individuals. So I would do cardiovascular for Sarah Michelle, cardiovascular for Hoyer, cardiovascular for Latrina Walden, and cardiovascular for Leak. I would do all of those, and then I would follow that up with taking quizzes doing practice questions for through Board Vitals and through FNP Mastery, just on that system that I did that day. And then right after that, when closer to the time of the exam, I counted, I think, 10 days back from the exam, and then I repeated all of the Leak on the online app. So I repeated those systems 10 days before. I would do a system each day on the Leak app right before the exam, my exam date. So I did not set a certain time. I didn't say, okay, I'm going to study for an hour today or 4 hours today. That was not how I had it set up. It was, I'm doing this body system these 2 days, so I'm going to cover these 2 people, and then I'll do these 2 people the next day, and whenever I'm done with that system is when I'm done studying for the day. So if that took me 1 hour, then great. If that took me 3 hours, then okay. What was the other thing I was going to say? So when it came to the question banks, I think that the Leak question banks are really good and very much like the exam, more so than the other question banks. Board Vitals was was harder, I believe, in my opinion, but it was still a challenge. I still liked it. Then there was FNP Mastery, which I got used to how they initially I thought it was harder, but then I got used to how their questions are, and I just was able to do better. But as far as rank of ease, I would say Leak, FNP Mastery, and then Board Vitals. I definitely recommend getting some type of question bank or using some type of question bank. Again, Leak is sufficient to do the job. I also took practice exams throughout this time. So the last week of February, right before my big exam at school, I took 2 practice exams. I took the first and second AANP practice exam. And then I also took 1 and 2 of the Leak practice exams. And then the week after the exam, after my school exam, I took the third Leak, and then I took a third AANP. The Thursday, Friday, and Sunday before the week of the boards, I took more practice exams. So I took the last Leak exam on that Thursday, and then the following day I took the Friday I took the APEA from Hollier. I'm saying her name wrong, but I took that exam, and I'll speak on that in a minute. And then on the Sunday I took the last AANP exam, and actually I'm telling you wrong. AANP only has 3 exams that you can take, so I took 1 before my big school exam, and then 1 after my big school exam, and then I took a third one. I took the third one on that Sunday before my exam. I had planned to take the 1 practice exam that ANCC provides. However, you have to schedule that in advance as if you're scheduling for your actual exam, and I did not know that, so I did not take that, but it is available. AANP charges $50 per exam, and then ANCC charges $85 per practice, well, just for that 1 practice exam. And then APEA, I think theirs is $20. I took 2 of theirs, actually. I took just the 1 predictor exam, but I did take her practice, 2 of her practice exams before and after my big school exam. So anyhow, that's how I did, and I'll share my. So with ANP, my initial score was a 66, my first test. My second test was a 71, and then my third test was a 77. And then for I'm not sharing the leak one because I honestly don't remember, but right off the top of my head. But APEA, that one, I can't remember what I got for the first and second practice test, but for the predictor exam, she offers 2 predictor exams. I only took one, but for the predictor exam, I got exactly a 70, and 70 is what she determines to be ready to take the boards. Okay. Now, in my opinion, that exam is nothing like the actual boards, ANCC or AANP. It's nothing like it. I don't. I think it's good test questions. I don't think that I think that you'll get discouraged if you take it. If you take that exam, you'll get discouraged because you will think that you're not ready when you really are ready. I've told this to several people who've gotten lower scores than I did, and they felt better, and they went forward and took their board exams, and they passed the first time. So, just take that with a grain of salt, okay? I will say that what I do recommend is, as far as practice exams go, is if you're taking AANP, take at least one of those exams, because the exam coming from AANP, so the questions are going to be most like the actual tests. And then if you're taking ANCC, take the ANCC practice exam. The questions are going to be most like the ANCC. So that's my advice. So I know this is kind of all over the place. Yeah, so if you do have any other questions, let me know. And I will share as much as I can. And I'm praying that whoever's watching this video, studying, that you all pass the boards the first time.